So I want to look at how to use the scale position so that you sound way better, you have a lot more fun because you're more engaged, and so you're never lost. You always know what to do. So if this is the first time you're hearing about your scale positions, all it is just a pattern on the fretboard that's easy to remember and lets you play melody. So if you want to play something that people recognize, a guitar solo, or a guitar riff, anything that's melodic, you need to use the scale positions. So, for example, if I put a backing track on and I use the right scale position, all those notes sound relatively good. It sounds like I'm playing along with the music. So if I'm thinking just as the shape though, just as dots without any identity or any meaning to these dots, really quickly you're going to run into problems because primarily you don't know how each note you're about to play or playing will interact with the music. So why do certain notes sound perfect while you're playing with certain chords and not with others? Or why do some notes, not even in the scale, sound good at certain times? So this is what we're going to solve. And it's going to be a lot more fun because it gets boring just playing around a box and having no idea exactly how to engage properly with the music. So to do this, you need three things. First, a little extra understanding of the position. Second, how to count by two. And third, have an idea of what the song is you're playing, like what the chords are going to be. And with those three things, you can really, really sound good. So first, a little bit more about the position. This is the E minor pentatonic, and that's what this is up here. But the most important thing we're going to look at right now is up here. And this tells us exactly how to find our key. So if I look at my first finger on the E string, that will determine the key. So that's where the root of the position is. If I go to my fretboard here, anywhere I put my first finger on the E string will be the key. So back here, we were in the key of C. Now I can trace this E string and find anywhere else. So if I want to go to, for example, the key of A, F sharp, G sharp, A. Now I'm in the key of A. How about the key of D? How about the key of A? What about E? So I count up from E, 12 frets later, the note repeats. Key of E. So we're going to look in the key of C right now, and again, that's the 8th fret. So that's how to find the key. First finger on the E string. That will determine the key. The second thing is how the chords work. Now this is really easy if you think in numbers. If you think in letters, they're always going to be changing. For every key, the collection of notes is always different. Numbers, it's always the same. So here is the secret. If I want to control the sound, I have to know that roots are very stable. The thirds have a kind of sweet and interesting sound to them. And the fifths are solid like the root, but a little bit more interest. So if I can remember those three things and know how to find them, then I can control the sound that I want to convey. So if you count by 2, it's really easy. So if you think in the alphabet, we'll start with the letters. If I have a C chord, I count on the alphabet A, so C, D, E. E is the third. C is the root. The name of the chord is always the root. So if the C chord comes up, I know I can play C, D, E, F, or G. That's the root, third, and fifth. It's much easier with chords though because you can just count. So if I have chord 1, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very, very fast and very easy. So with chord 4, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now there's no 8, so after 7 you go right back to 1. How about chord 5? 5. What would be on this side? 5, 6, 7. After 7 comes 1, we skip the 1 and we go to 2. So when you see these Roman numerals, you know right away what to hit. So if you see chord 1, well, you know 1 is going to work. Chord 4, 4 will work. And 5, obviously 5. The calculation you have to make is just count by 2. So chord 5 comes, count by 2. Oh, I have a third or a fifth. So in the example that we're going to use, we're going to be using the key of C. So here I can see my C major chord. It's going to sound like. There's my F, 4, 6, and 1 for the 4 chord. And finally for the 5 chord, 5, 7, 2. 5 is the root, 7 is the third, and 2 is the fifth. So again, it might seem like a lot, but all you have to do is count by 2. So if we go back to the fretboard, and instead of thinking in letters, we now think in numbers, it becomes a lot easier. So suddenly I see a chord 1 coming. I know that my 1s, let's get a better sound here. How about that? I know that my 1s will be roots. My 3, this is a flat 3. This is where he comes in. And there's my 3, and there's my 5. 1, 3, 5. For chord 4, there's a 4, or there's a 4. There's my roots. My fifths will be, actually the 6 is going to be right there. 5, there's 6. And for my 5 chords, I have a 5, whoops, sorry, 5, a 7, and a 2. So this is one of those chords that does not fit into this scale very well. And why a lot of beginning blues players have a hard time with this chord is because 2 of the main notes are not even in the scale. So it's 5, natural 7, 2, 5, there's my 7, there's my natural 7, and there's my 2. So with that in mind, let's try the backing track again, but this time being aware of what the notes are. So I'm only going to play roots. Here comes chord 1. And I want to play them on the downbeat. Here comes chord 1. One more. Here comes chord 5. Obviously that was boring, but it's a start. So when you're playing along with these backing tracks, really try to aim for specific chord tones on the downbeat. So 2, 3, 4, now. 2, 3, 4. So that was roots. Now let's try thirds. A lot more interesting. 2, 3, 4. So here comes 5, 7, 2. Here is my 7. 4, 6, 1, 1, 3, 5. Now let's aim for the fifths. So chord 1, 1, 3, 5. All the blues. 4, 6, 1. And the notes, they sound harmonious with the chord, and that's the trick. Only fifths. Now a little bit of freedom in between. So 5, 7, 2. 4, 6, 1. 1, 3, 5. So now we can start putting some free playing notes in between and making sure that we always land on chord tones when the chord changes. Here's chord 4. Chord 5, walk up to it. 2 notes at once. The 6 back there. Alright, so that's a great way to start. We can throw sevenths in if we want to, but first start off just by being aware of where your original bass 1 is, and try playing along and hitting chord tones as you're playing. Then you can start to noodle around and be free, but if you hit your chord tones on the downbeat, your playing will instantly be better for you and for the listener. Alright, so that's an introduction for how to use the backing tracks, and I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck. Backing tracks coming soon.